Hey everybody, I'm Jack Reedy with Future Pastimes, and I'm the designer of the Adventures of Conan. And in this video, I'm going to be looking at the two foes that are part of the Nemedian Chronicles expansion for the Adventures of Conan. Comes with another Conan, some more allies, and these two foes, you have Olva and you have Natohk, the Veiled One. And these are some interesting characters. They were fun to design, and I love having them in. I love mixing up the game, changing up which foes and other elements we have in the game. So let's take a look at these two characters and see what they do. We're going to start with Olva on her gray side. So she starts in Nordheim, and she uses the red dice for her primary dice. And the gray side ability is if you initiate a duel, and remember, a duel is when you enter a kingdom that has another player and you're going to fight it out. So Olva can duel with Conan, and in a 4-player game, if there's another foe, Olva can duel with the foe. Foes can never initiate duels with allies, although allies can initiate duels with foes. But this is when Olva initiates a duel. You're going to roll all of your spent dice, and then any warriors, wilds, or character results that you roll will be added to your warrior pool. So you get to add, you've done a whole bunch of actions, and now you move into a kingdom to initiate a duel. You roll all those spent dice, and if you get anything that can be part of a warrior pool, it gets added in. Otherwise, it stays spent. And then you add in your other normal active dice that could be part of that warrior pool. So Olva wants to initiate duels later in the round, so do a bunch of actions, but save the dice that can normally be part of a warrior pool. So save your character results, save your warriors, do some other actions with your other results, and then go in there and initiate a duel with Conan, presumably, and then you have a much better chance of being able to win that duel. So this doesn't work for Olva if Olva has to do a fight, so it's only for dueling. On the red side for Olva, at the start of any sort of a phase, you may spend 2 different fate tokens to focus one of your dice. So when you're on the red side, you're going to want to try to collect as many fate tokens as you can. Remember, rolling kingdom dice is a great way to just get fate tokens. It costs you a gold to do it. So maybe instead of saving up to buy a lot of extra dice, maybe you buy 1, but if you have other gold, you're rolling those dice to get those fate tokens, because spending 2 different fate tokens, especially the ones that you don't really need, like the non-achievement track ones, so like, oh, I've got a trade fate token or a scry or what have you, lets you focus your die. Remember, focus a die means you're going to take one of your active dice and you're going to switch it to any face on that die. So if what you needed was a sorcery result, you can focus to that. Can't ever focus to a wild. But, this is pretty close to being able to do it. So Olva is a pretty interesting character. Again, the gray side is great for somebody who wants to take the fight to Conan, especially. You are well armed to do so. And then here, if just all around, at the start of any phase, if you've got a bunch of fate tokens, especially ones that you're like, I'm not really going to need this. This is, there's an adventure, it doesn't really use any of these fate tokens. So stockpiling fate tokens on your red side is Olva, and then you can really start to do exactly what you need to do. All right, that brings us to Natohk, the Veiled One. So we're going to start with this gray side. He starts in Eastern Desert, which, remember, is a tough space to get out of. It takes 2 moves to get out of Eastern Desert. But we'll see if that has much impact on him. So on the gray side here, as your action during the main phase, you may spend an active sorcery to focus a rival die, then flip this card. So here, a little bit different from what Olva did. Olva can spend fate tokens to focus one of her own dice. Here, you are using sorcery to focus somebody else's die. And, if Conan needs moves or something to get somewhere, you can say, like, let's focus that to, the kingdom result, the kingdom scry result, so that you can't move with that. And so Yeah, Natohk on the gray side. This is for a player who really likes to meddle with Conan especially, or any of the other players. But this is a flip action, so you're only going to be able to do this once before it flips. But the other side is also a flip. So similar to the base game Conan, where each of Conan's abilities is used and then the card flips, but then you use that ability and it'll flip back. So here we've now flipped to the red side for Natohk. And this is pretty good. It definitely will feed a strategy for you as this foe. So when a fight challenge token is removed from the board, you may add it to your pool of face-down challenge tokens. Then flip this card. So what does that mean? Well, remember, the challenge tokens, they have the little skulls on them. They go face down into kingdoms, and they're triggered when somebody moves into a kingdom that has one, or when one is moved into a kingdom that contains another player. And a decent number of them are fights. So they're going to have a certain number of warrior results that you'll need to roll. If you are in a fight, you form a warrior pool with your dice, and then you're rolling, and you get to re-roll warriors, and you're trying to get enough successes to hit that threshold. These fight tokens are a great tool for the foes and allies to either deter Conan from going somewhere, or to make it harder for Conan to get somewhere, or to just, hopefully, to wound him. So the more wounds that Conan sustains, the fewer dice he will have for the rest of the round, which will become really important on encounters and adventures. If he can't use his own dice in adventures, he has to use other players' dice, and that's how you score points. So here, if Natohk gets a hold of a fight token, he's going to want to put it somewhere where it's going to get triggered. Or if, another one just happens to get triggered, because remember, the events will bring them onto the board, and nobody knows what those challenge tokens are unless they get scryed. But once you get one out there, then you're going to be able to, with sorcery, get it back on the board. And, if you've got the expansion, you've got the brutal fight, which does 2 wounds. And so there's a couple of pretty good fight challenge tokens that you get your hands on them. As Natohk, you're going to be able to redeploy them onto the board and really mess with Conan. Because he might beat one, but he'll use up his whole warrior pool to do it. Maybe he got a couple of points, but now you're able to bring another one into his pathway, and then he's really going to be hurting, which is really one of your big goals as the foe. The more you can wound Conan, the more that you can leverage the benefits. If Conan is wounded going into an encounter, Conan will have a very hard time completing that encounter, and then you have a much better time of finishing up the encounter and getting the rewards for it. And then, of course, the adventure. So if you're able to steer Conan to a 3-point adventure, knowing that he's not going to be able to use many, if any, of his own dice, that can be a lot of points. And then combine that with like a Zath effect, and woo, that is how you win as the foe. So those are, I think, really 2 interesting foes. They're in the expansion, the Nemedian Chronicles. I'm not sure how Gale Force 9 is doing. There are 2 separate expansions, but they did combine them in the campaign, and they're selling them as a combined expansion on their website. So if it shows up in retail, it may just be the one, in which case you'll have 2 more foes, and we'll take a look at those in an upcoming video. So let me know if you have any questions. That's it for this one, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.